song I wrote called Those Wild Feral Cats. The times are lean and nobody's getting fat except those wild feral cats roaming around San Francisco's Twin Peaks. Yes, the times are lean and nobody's getting fat except those crazy federal cats hissing and growling on Capitol Hill. The times are lean and nobody's getting fat except those wild feral cats, except those crazy federal cats. And it's it, and that's that. The next poem is called The Mutual Admiration Society. With sincere compliments from the Mutual Admiration Society. Bravo, kudos, congratulations, marvelous! The Mutual Admiration Society, membership of 2. Just me, just me. The next one is called The Circus of Illusion. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, and children of all ages. Welcome, one and all, to the amazing Circus of Illusion. Live reality at the tent entrance. Join the amazing Circus of Illusion at your own expense. Is the tattooed lady really tattooed? Is the fat man really fat? Is the muscular man really strong? Is the clown really wearing a frown upside down? Or is it really just your imagination at the amazing Circus of Illusion? The Circus of Illusion imitates life. Life, like the circus, is filled with illusion. Leave reality at the tent entrance. Join the amazing Circus of Illusion at your own expense. Now, a few years ago, there was this trio on Geary Street downtown. They consisted of a Rottweiler, a black rat, and a white rat, and a black tabby cat. And so this is called Sideshow on Geary Street. Rottweiler lies immobile on Geary Street corner. Long-tailed white rat lies atop dog on Geary Street corner. Black tabby cat lies beside rat atop dog on Geary Street corner. Cat licks fur of white rat like a mother cat with her kitten. People look on in amusement, take photos, and drop monetary tokens of appreciation into trio's tin cup. Stray dog walking by stops and looks on in confusion at the entrepreneurial entertainers. Just another sideshow on Geary Street. Next one is called Down in the Balcony, Up in the Orchestra. Candy wrappers crackling, popcorn crunching, cell phones ringing, babies crying, and the audience is talking. Extra special effects at the movie theater. Under the silver screen, down in the balcony, up in the orchestra. The next is a song I wrote. It's called Instant Gratification. No ifs, ands, or buts. Don't put me in a rut. I don't want it tomorrow. I don't want it Tuesday. I want it today. I want it now. I just must have it now. Prompt pleasure required. Immediate satisfaction desired. Patience is not in my vocabulary. Delay is not in my itinerary. Instant gratification, please speed to me. Won't accept anything less. Come right in and sit right down. Instant gratification, please surround me. Just can't live without. Gotta give me instant gratification to shout about. Instant gratification is what I need. Instant gratification guaranteed. Now, at the Academy of Sciences, a couple of years ago, there was a white, blind albino alligator together with another alligator. The white blind albino alligator was called Claude, C-L-O-G, and the female alligator was called Bonnie. It's called Blind Love. Claude, the albino alligator, rested contentedly on his rump until the day Bonnie bit Claude's claw. Love is blind at the Academy of Sciences and in all those unexpected places that love embraces. This poem is called The Love Affair. A woman's love affair with her handbag begins at the tender age of 4 when she resists the urge to stuff her pockets with anything more. Like boys who stuff their pockets with baseball cards, marbles, and frogs, we have an intimate connection to our handbags. And yes, we must confess, that we would feel uncomfortable if someone we know looked inside our handbags. In them, we carry nearly everything under the sun and then some. Our down-to-earth handbags include hair accessories, keys, IDs, money, emergency sewing kits, makeup repair kits, perfume, vitamins, mints, good luck charms, eyeglasses, pens, notepads, and photographs. Compartment-style handbags are a must-have for the modern woman, with pockets in different shapes and sizes to help organize the clutter inside the bag. We hold onto our purses as prized possessions, and we carry our purses with us wherever we go. Even now, when society is bombarded day in and day out with news of the worst recession to hit the Western world since the 1930s, we are unable to resist the lure of the handbag. A woman's quest for the perfect handbag should be taken very seriously. Our handbags are filled with essentials that we just might need sometime in another lifetime. The never-ending love affair. The next is a song I wrote called The Bad Recession Blues. Just can't pay my dues. Got nothing but bad news. Got everything to lose. Just don't know what to do. Don't have any clues. I've got a short, explosive fuse. I've got the bad recession blues. I'm just going to sit right down in this cafe with a chai latte and a biscotti cookie, write myself some poetry, and fade into oblivion today. I'm going to lose the bad recession blues. I'm going to lose the bad recession blues. Bad depression blues. Bad recession blues. Now, the next poem is about the Eiffel Tower. When the Eiffel Tower was constructed, Parisians laughed at it. They hated it.
Right.
And so this is dedicated to the odious Tower of Steel. Considered an extravagance in its time, a monstrosity and a mockery, narrowly escaped demolition shortly after completion. Built for the 1889 International Exposition, the tower was erected to mark the 100th anniversary of the French Revolution. Parisians did not welcome the odious Tower of Steel. This controversial icon sparked protest and much grumbling among the gens of the time, who believed it was dangerous, ugly, and did not truly reflect their city and culture. Built to withstand the force of wind as well as gravity, the tower is made of 12,000 pieces of pre-formed steel put together like a big jigsaw puzzle or erector set. It has aged gracefully and no longer stands in stark contrast to the ornate architecture that has survived in modern Paris. The monument that brought cries of displeasure and expletive, "F that odious Tower of Steel," echoed through the city of light, because it represented that which was modern and very non-Parisian, La Tour Eiffel. And the next poet is Ray.
All right, Ray.
This afternoon I have one poem that I read before and one new poem. So the first one is the one that I read before. This is called The Sacred Bison. I summon the forces of earth and sky. I'll build Mayan-type pyramids in seventh heaven. I shall transliterate the sun, a prismatic language of light. I invoke a translucent liturgy, love to earth goddess. I shall be the mystic god, rediscovering, retranslating revelations of resurrected nature, Inanna and Ishara, Isis and Osiris, Demeter and Persephone, Tiamat and Baal. I say burnished clay tablets cuneiform speaks of a goddess long hidden in its literate matrix, of a goddess not fully discovered, as yet untranslated, unseen, a goddess who stands as huge as the universe, its cosmic beauty. And now refashion colossal calcified cave walls with the white arc of my brush flourished in the spectral light of the cave's now feverish flame. I paint an enormous cubistic bison, a Picasso-alike bison, to invoke the rebirth of the Magic Buffalo. In these ways, I try emulating William Blake when he, in his mighty poetry, sculpts pillars of Carrara marble at the New Jerusalem. Thanks. So here's my my offering of something that's which you haven't heard before. That's everybody's welcome if you want to go to the anyway. Okay. So this is my new poem. The title is USA. You are the incarnadine wounds of Guatemala. U.S. of America, you are the Holy Virgin incarnate, and incarnadine wounds of Guatemalan peasants. You are the pure saint who bends his boundless beneficence to the whole world. You never promote white phosphorus weaponry, cluster bombs, and a multiplicity of death drones in Iraq, Palestine, Afghanistan, Pakistan. You're a saint. You never bombed Hiroshima and Nagasaki. You're a saint. You never had Patrice Lumumba, the African revolutionary, murdered and then dissolved in acid. Yeah, that's right. You didn't do that. No. You didn't do that. You are the Holy Ghost. You are the Virgin Mary. You are the Virgin Mary who offers her milkful breast to the world. A mother expressing her warm breast to the baby Jesus planet Earth. You never committed genocide on the American Indian people. You're the Immaculate Conception. You never carried on a Christian crusade against Arab men, women, and babies. You're the pristine waters of the baptismal fount. You're the pristine waters of the baptismal fount. Excuse me. You never killed Che Guevara. No. You're St. Francis of Assisi. You're Tinkerbell, Peter Pan, the Peter Pan Fairy, and the PTA, and the Boy Scouts. You are the martyred, mystic, misunderstood saint of the cosmos.
Yeah.
All right,
All right. And our next poet will be Indigo.
all right.
Indigo. Thank you, Steve.
I just planned this little
Okay. Did you want to be videotaped?
No, I think I'll just.
No, no videotape.
The eyes of God. I was singing in my kitchen, baking cornbread, when a battering began against the ceiling and the walls. An insect, big as a hummingbird, was knocking about in such a frenzy I thought it would hurt it some. So when it landed on the back of a chair, I grabbed a soft towel. It was a giant moth, its deep blue wings threaded with gold. And as I crept toward it, about to capture it, the wings opened wider, and two great eyes stared at me. It stopped me. The whole kitchen seemed transformed, swinging on the lip of the universe with this unworldly apparition looking right at me. The window was wide open, the night with air calling, and though I wanted to hold this enchantment blown around me like lantern light, I caught him, releasing his magic into the dark recesses of the night, beneath a high wind and a thoughtful firmament. graces of the autumnal equinox. The figures of grace out my window at dawn have entered my heart this evening, and what a happy lot they are. They sit around in a circular table, bubbling up laughter, telling jokes, the conversation a juggled act, everything up in the air and nothing dropped, the children full of hijinks. They'd moved in for good, they say, set up housekeeping, made all the beds, expanded the interior, and have begun to sew a patchwork of their stories. Their secrets are gems, sapphires that shine in the dark, rubies glowing volcanic, amber, amethyst, lapis, and pearls. They are full-bodied in flowing clothes, and when they cook, aromas rise as from ancient French kitchens, from great-great-great-grandmothers that draw everyone back to the table. The graces have lineage that touch heaven, and they bring heaven home. I should read. Martin's daughter. At the Blue Front Deli, I'm watching a warmly dressed young woman eat her soup, while Tom Waite's gravelly voice touches its depth in the background. When I realize she is the daughter of a man who ran away at age 14 in the 60s and stayed to work, marry, and raise this girl. She has lived on this ragged street of runaways all her life, where the followers of a rock band became a 20-year cult and still crowd the sidewalk selling their handmade wares. She has prominent cheeks, a sharp nose, and she is poised but seems uncertain, appears to hold a fragile balance between the strength in herself and her vulnerability in the face of the rivers of lost souls on the street, with its odd history from the summer of love drowned in a wave of drugs. And she too, I am told, had wandered the mazes of this world's drugged confusion until the silence of another world, intruding its light, let down steps and the ladder back up within a meditation.
We've got 6 more minutes.
Oh, okay. Let's see. Sister Persephone. You return to your alcoholic mother, Janet, as ash. From night rivers where walking dogs our lives linked through the men we left. I could pick up all your footsteps like the fog gathering over Clayton and Haight. If I could pick up your footsteps like the fog gathering over Clayton and Haight, I could not put them back. Without money, job, or credit, you bought a 4-story Victoria, moved me in your van for a battery I bought while Cliff was off riding the green tortoise through Baja Stone. Mika, in dreadlocks, who mutters all day in cafe mirrors, was the only one able to take away the knife that went through your heart, holding your head as you died in the window on Haight Street, while others chased the husband unexpectedly released from stealing your mother's jewels into a clothing store where he stood fingering merchandise and moaning. The last time I saw you, we watched Crimes of the Heart, and I worried about your tenants, battles, and confusion, as though the night itself took a body and rose up against you.
Yes, you still have 5 more minutes.
Okay. Let's see. It's just a fantasy to them, for Cliff, who died. Your body held so much spilled freight, moving in over the horizon all summer. Every morning I tried to lift it, but it lost me as I lost myself in its rush. Like a general, you stood watching the storm approach, the cocktail party safely indoors, everyone holding their glasses and bits of conversation, as the storm shred the sky in great blocks of tangled bolts, a deep snortling blackness and foreboding sounds like the grumbling going on before a prison riot. A prison riot is a howl of racial exclusion, we said. Just to escape being shot at takes infinite ingenuity. A guest at the party had actually given the order to shoot into rioting prisoners at Attica. It was just a fantasy to them, he said, amazed when someone exclaimed they ought to shoot prisoners anyway. And you were trying to say something of compassion when Mother pipes up, we should chop off their heads, go back to the old ways, and everyone's head dropped, staring into their cups, while you stood, eyes glazed, 11 years San Quentin incarceration, tattooed to your arm, a shield of darkness, behind which armies rose. Should I read another one?
Yes, we still
Okay.
have 3 minutes.
My grandfather. The coiled asp of suicide I carry goes back to my grandfather, who hung himself from a punching bag in the attic, and coincides with me, his namesake. My guilt bent as simply as a figure constructed of hairpins. My grandfather, a small man, was named for the biblical Joseph, who saved his life by interpreting dreams. Suicide is one of my roots, and in order to redeem myself, I seem condemned to turn other spirits from that row, steps to the attic like slots where suicides reach their wires beneath the living deadly house goat, the attics, swinging through voluptuous shadows, swallowing the light. I enter this defeat with my hands tied up in prayers. The old paths lead me back as I try to interpret this dream, walking through walls. And no matter how many times they close, I have to keep pushing and pushing them open. Read this whole book. I really thought I read it. Okay, this is for Holbrook Theater in Memoriam. He was a man who cast lifelines all over the world, connecting men in the darkest holes to words that could overturn despair. And then he would retreat to a mountaintop where, without any of the world's accoutrements, offered feasts to his friends on tables covered with brilliance. This was a world of privilege I once entered and was offered a room where the table was carried out under the stars and the full moon, and the night crept down to join us in our candlelight. The laughter echoing down through that valley echoes still, his voice rich as the night itself. I don't know, probably people know Cat. Sunset in the evening star. That's a long one, the shot of Philip. Sunset in the evening star. While my father was dying, I lived in a van with no address. And each night of my meditation, the evening star would appear in a brilliant red sky, and it spoke. It was my mother reading a poem of death and calling me. Sunset in the evening star were the first words I heard entering her house as she was arranging the service with the minister, trying to remember the words of Tennyson's poem, Crossing the Bar. All fall my father cried when she read it, whenever she read it. All fall my father cried whenever she read it. I dreamed at his bedside of waking in the vans to such a rich and sexual darkness. Just to reach for the salt was an amorous venture, yet I turned to pay my final respects. Our family was cold, affection shy. I had to be coached to tell him how much I loved his singing through childhood, his mandolin and his guitar, his voice a hillside of wind-blown trees singing, travel, travel, little star, in your one-horse circus car, with verse after verse enlightening my curiosity for that gypsy light. He turned the bells of his sheep, so they moved in harmony, like a cloud formation down the evening hills. He kept bees and gave us the sun to care for, making all the sharp edges of the harsh, melting all the sharp edges of the harshness of sex. Grief recedes like a storm cloud release, my body thrown down, letting go of my father, his presence lively as a soft shoe he danced after work. He's still close, only livelier, as he was as a youth, when we watched the breakup of ice on the Susquehanna River thunder in the night. He stood on the bridge in an overcoat, and told me how he loved the thaw. The pain of two rivers that cross in our town, slowly freezing in the pale blue winter, and the birth of each child set him on his knees. He was born in an ironing board in the attic on Murray Street and never went to war. I was having such sensual dreams. The funeral arranged on parallel tracks. I couldn't wait to get back to the band, my body somehow trapped in this weather, endless rain, flooded grass, yet I still seemed to be dancing. My father's arms reaching out of it all, and his voice in perfect pitch. We were born on opposite days of the year, and we were attached. I was told Gandhi was 16, just married to a 14-year-old bride, and wildly impatient to get back to his teenage wife while he sat at his dying father's bedside, pitch and tune combining as I traveled back to my star-crossed circus caravan.
Wow, beautiful. Thank you. And our next poet is Ann. Oh, wow. Okay. Did you want to be videotaped, Ann?
Oh, that'd be fine. That's all right. I'm getting over that.
Okay, they're being videotaped.
I've been reading this chapter on industrial post-punk in San Francisco, and we're up to 10:27:80, and I think this is where I quit. Cabaret Voltaire at the Savoy Tivoli with Bee People and Factrix, or The Return of the Succubus. I don't think I read that before. But I couldn't believe it when I saw the poster advertising Cabaret Voltaire, the Bee People, and Factrix all in the same bill at the Savoy Tivoli on Grant Street. It just couldn't get much better than genteel green awnings shading the wrought iron tables and chairs on the Savoy's veranda, along with the interior's old wood paneling and antique bar, made the restaurant's music venue a beautiful showcase for bands. On stage, Cabaret Voltaire was solely concerned with the music, sometimes walking around the stage as they played, and at other times performing with their backs to the audience. Meanwhile, stark projections ran on the wall behind them as the intense rhythms and poetic ambience of the Cab's music swept the audience away. The evocative early Cabaret Voltaire cuts, Curlian Photograph, No Escape, Heaven and Hell, Do the Mussolini Head Kick, and Nag, 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 along with the cover of the Velvet Underground's Here She Comes, managed to be emotional and technologically innovative at the same time. Electronic but haunting, they summoned up feelings of alienation and yearning that had been ushered in by the same wave of technology used to create their music. That night, as Cabaret Voltaire performed, Cole and Joseph of Factrix were up in the sound booth. Cole said, "We were kind of high, I guess." Joseph started yelling up to the sound guy. He had envisioned while Cabaret Voltaire was on, he was totally convinced there was some sort of entity that had materialized. It was what you would think a succubus would look like, this feminine form. Well, it was more androgynous. He almost thought it was Ginger Coyote at first, this scary kind of he-she creature. It was doing this kind of sexy dance. I got spooked because of the way he was describing it. He felt this presence. There was this bug in the sound, and there was this screeching, and Joseph was doing this psych-out thing with this entity, and he was focusing his thoughts, trying to eradicate this malevolent being. Somebody was with us, Mark Pauline. Mark elbowed him in the chest really hard when he was most intensely focusing and told him to cut it out, and he broke the thing, and the thing was all of a sudden a puff of smoke, and all of a sudden the sound was all right again. During Cabaret Voltaire's stateside visit, band members Stephen Mallender, Richard Kirk, and Chris Watson stayed at 20 Romola Place with Vale and Ruby. They also took a trip to the Marin Headlands with Johnny Myers, who gave them a chuckle or two by making flip comments about them being tourists. After having them as house guests, Ruby reported the Cabs were quiet, intellectual types, not party people. Around that time, other rough trade bands came to San Francisco and played, including the Slits with Bruce Smith of the pop group, who is actually Robert Hasselschmidt's son, a really great artist. He was on drums. He later played with Public Image Limited. And the Young Marble Giants. The Savoy's Atmosphere and the Eklund Sound Crew, under the direction of club managers Jerry and Olga Gerard, brought out the best in the bands that played there, including some of my favorites: Tuxedo Moon, The Sleepers, Bee People, Factrix, Cabaret Voltaire, and Sun Ra. Terrifying scenes from the battlefields of tomorrow. This was in December of 1980. It was Mark Pauline's Pearl Harbor Day tribute at Kezar Pavilion, and Monty Casaz's infamous 15-foot by 15-foot screw-together aluminum swastika stood at one end of the basketball court. For the first stint of the night, the performance artist went pinwheeling around and round, strapped to his high-tech version of the Nazi-appropriated solar symbol. When his ride was over, Monty walked back to his synthesizer without faltering, and flares were lit at the ends of the swastika. It began to spiral again until the flares died out, and then Cole, Monty, and Tana played Pizza Man. As they were performing, Monty ran color slides of a bleeding shotgun face with a mucky crater where his nose had been. Pizza Man was the media handle for a soldier who'd come home from Vietnam to find his wife had been having a long-time affair with his mother and father both while he'd been overseas. He earned the nickname when he blew out his brains after discovering the menage a trois. As Mark Pauline's machines were set up, the artist made a fleeting wish he could turn the rockets he brought with him into the audience. Although he didn't follow through on the passing fancy, his kitty-sized sheet metal remote control tank blasted the projectiles into a plywood painting of a group of thugs packing shotguns and Colt pythons. Eventually, the rocket launcher destroyed all the other machines on the floor, with the audience cheering as various targets were hit. Then, when a small mortar struck a caricature of a 1950s suit and tie jerk in the mouth, gallons of black ink gushed onto the wooden basketball court. After the show, when the Park and Rec discovered the flooring was permanently stained and needed replacement, they banned Mark, Monty, and Tana from ever appearing at Kezar again. Mark's Battlefields of Tomorrow also featured a scroll of pictures of fighter planes and soldiers that were pricked by a spark plug swiveling on a mechanical elbow as they rolled by. This ignited vapors behind the scroll, making small, noisy explosions. Suspended above the mayhem was Mark's mechanical cat, back for a repeat performance. At the end of the evening, Factrix performed their set, plowing up deep, murky bits of emotion, and for me, they were the quiet hit of the night. Next one's Kimberly Ray, Manic Movement, January 1981. The gifted and beautiful Kimberly Ray was just 17 years old when Monty and Tana began to help her realize her dreams of performing on stage as a one-of-a-kind trance dancer. Kimberly was fascinated with hysterical, uncontrollable movements like the seizures, spasms, and nervous twitches that had inspired Andre Breton to re-examine Freud's theory of hysteria and declare beauty must be convulsive. Monty said Kimberly wanted to do a show, so we said, let's see what kind of music we can do. We were sort of her backing band. I was not personally in charge of it, she was. She knew what she wanted. The result was Kimberly's Manic Movement at the Berkeley Square. Performing on stage with her, Monty escaped from a black bag, freed Kim from shackles, and then demolished children's playthings and other items with a hatchet. For the climax, the dancer set fire to the stage without telling the club's management her plans. The flaming finale, along with Mark Pauline having cut a wire from the club's time card machine for an electrical hookup, ensured they were never invited back to the Berkeley Square again. The creative aspect of the night was a success, however, with Tana enthusiastically stating, Kim's dance was like the red shoes on acid. How much more time do I have?
You have 3 more minutes.
3?
Yes?
They're kind of like Infant's Terrible. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Factrix and SPK at Oddfellows. This is in May of '81. Bob said the PA got dropped off late for Factrix's set at the SPK show. The sound guy had one phone call from jail, which he used to call and tell me he couldn't make it. He was arrested for growing pot, and could I please call his lawyer? SPK was an Australian industrial noise group whose core members, Graham Revell and Neil Hill, recruited additional musicians at various times. The band mainly relied on synthesizers to create their sound, but Bond said they were a lot more rhythmic than throbbing whistle, their style strong, and the rhythms were catchy. It sounded very new. They had something for sure. At Oddfellows Hall, when Factrix opened for SPK, Bond said they went to the butcher shop and got a goat's head and broke it up on stage. Graham cut it up with his machete and ate some of the brains, and they called it a night. He almost threw up. He was on stage and his face changed color immediately. He was surprised how horrible it tasted. KALX DJ Johnny Myers commented, John Bouchard went up to him when he had goat brains all over his face and signed him to a record deal. The first SPK album came out on Bouchard's Thermidor Records following Nick Cave's earlier birthday party album. John Gullick, who caught SPK at a Grove Street performance with Flipper opening the show, said, they banged on springs and metal and got that going. They were tribal sounding, industrial rhythms, powerful, aggressive. John, whose day-long headache had gone from bad to worse, asserted, it went away during SPK's set. I'm sure it had to do with what they were doing on stage, the noise. John also reported that when he went backstage with his girlfriend, she was swinging from the rafters. She swung into SPK's dressing room door, and the door flew open, and she landed on the coffee table. They just sort of sat there. It didn't faze them. Just about done with this.
Okay. Next poet is Jason.
Is that yours?
Oh, yeah. Let me get all my stuff. Sorry.
Did you want to be videotaped, Jason?
That's okay.
Yes?
Yes.
Okay.
Hey, Gary.
Hi.
So I'll just start this one. I never did name it. If plants have good conditions, not too many competitors, they grow and grow, filling up their ecological space. Trees all the way up the mountain to the tree line. If animals have lots of food, not too many predators, they multiply and multiply. As the easy food is eaten, fight for territory, spread out to marginal areas. If too confined, without predators, like deer on an island, so many, they can eat so much, none of them survive the winter. If too many deer, too few trees, they can eat faster than the trees grow. So trees don't survive over the years, and neither do the deer. Most often, too few trees results after a while in fewer deer. Lions present, many deer, easy pickings. Lions multiply, eat until too few deer to find, so not so many lions survive. Nature's balance among predators, deer, and trees. People without predators multiply until they are in the process of eating all the trees already. Now, none of whom can bring themselves to stop eating. Not them, not me, not you. Therein lies the crux of the problem. Repeated again and again. Civilization after civilization collapsed. We ask, how could they have done that? Just like this. Getting by one more year. Who cut the last tree? Someone who needed a roof. Who got to it first? What do? What we did yesterday, as long as we can. How many coal-fired power plants does China build each week? It would be all their fault, except we're not sure we can blame them for trying to be like us, for trying to live like we live on the money we borrow from them, that they daren't stop loaning because we owe them too much. Once we're out to sea in a leaky boat, we can't bring ourselves to stop bailing until one day an extra high wave or a squall, or the pail is dropped, or bodies give out. So we finally swamp and say that was why. Please, rage. Rage is the appropriate emotion. Already living unsustainably globally means not everyone's life can be sustained, doesn't it? So every destruction of carrying capacity, of productive capability, is tantamount to murder, isn't it? Pretend we don't see it because it's not yet. Pretend we don't care because it's not yes, not us. We daren't consider otherwise. They want us to sleep a few more years so they can fill their pockets before the opportunity runs out. Private profits at public cost. Carving the planks beneath our feet into trinkets we buy because maybe, just maybe, we'll find another way to keep the boat afloat. How stupid to bet civilization's life on the come. Grandma said, who heard of such a thing, play before work? Condemned by capitalism that was here before us, rage is realistic. Resistance. Someone wrote an essay, and so here's what my quote is on that. My good example, striving for personal change, becoming, self-development, my identity, a political statement, change through personal change. It happened before 1900 in Europe. It happened in the 1960s. The same movement, different bodies. Not good enough to save us like we think, like I thought, like I would like, because it never has been enough. Power keeps power at all costs. It always has. It can't help itself. How did Ireland shake loose British oppression? Not by farming better. How did women get the vote? Not by waiting and being good. How did desegregation happen? Not by waiting and being good. It's been explained. It's not an individual concern. It's a class. A group forces impinge upon, power structure manipulates. Don't worry. Very few are in the front lines. It takes more than just one generation to find the culture determined to stand. For sake of a place to live, a livable planet, if we really saw it, dry decimation everywhere, habitat non-existent, aquifers pancaking, reality of extinction. When people in their 20s absolutely know what is needed, will they do it? Yes, fear. Our lifestyle leaves us no immunity from the cause. Moors, hardly remembered. Comstock Load, 1860s, Hennis Pass Road. All manner of teams, horse, oxen, more than seen on any road of the time. Heavy equipment, prospectors, families. Moore's bustling stage station and hotel. Now a few large rocks in a line. Must have been the foundation. No trace of the barn. 40-foot well, a 6-foot depression. Stone walls 4 foot high, dug into the ground, marked root cellar. Corral, though, rocks piled haphazardly along a line to wedge in the fence posts. A few cracked, weathered gray pieces of tree, mostly gone, still salute upright. The only trace of wood anywhere on the dry, wind-blown flat of rock and sagebrush. Only 150 years ago, as old as some houses. How could it have disappeared so completely, leaving so little behind? An empty morning question of transitory lives, relying for meaning on a few relics and gravestones. Give another break. Don't need no bic. Never mind when the shroud appears, covering something already there. Or go ahead, claw it with talons, yank head to rip it with teeth, stomp it into the dirt. Either way, the light is unwavering, plays peekaboo with itself. So laugh, it's all you. Overpopulated. Each organism strives to survive, to do a little better for itself. The nature of life, how could it not? With enough food, population increases. As life increases, it fills every niche available, uses every resource, doing what it has to do to survive better, even using what can't be replaced. Gradually getting itself in a bad fix that will exterminate itself unless somehow its population is kept in check. This is our story. Too taboo for environmentalists to talk about, except for a few. For those with faith, it will happen by itself. The day has already come and gone. Damage is already done, if not in their backyard, in many. In the middle of our human-caused mass species extinction, the ancient Fertile Crescent is now desert. So even then, there were too many, a story that has repeated itself many times. Global population almost tripled in my lifetime, so what if it triples again? Without having to talk about the solution first, can we acknowledge the issue? Begin to talk about it?
And our next poet will be Tifa. Welcome back, Tifa.
How is everybody?
Yeah.
All right, good. So I'm gonna do some stuff. I'm do some stuff. All right, let's see how this gets. I made my own music now, so this is my own music. I'm gonna rap to it. Sacred Grounds open mic, you know this is the place that I like. I haven't seen my friends in over a couple months, but now I'm back and this is what I do. You know I'm old school, I'm like that Konami code that you put, it's real old. Back from the Super NES era, it's the games that we play because back then, the things that we saw on TV would scare ya, don't you know? Because we were little children. But no, now we're just grown up and we're chilling. Yes, we're sitting back drinking a beer, having a sandwich, and all my friends are near. Yes, we got the person with the awesome guitar, and I know you can go very far. You are a star, you will go very far like the sands of time. Yes, I just rhyme, never stop as I look at everything around me. Don't you know, this is what I see. I see you, you're such a beauty. Yes, you are so beautiful, and I am so truthful. The way I express my emotions for you. And now we hit the chorus, the break in the song. I can do no wrong. Everybody wave your hands in the air. Wave them like you just don't care. Now we're back into the beat. You know this is gonna be real neat. Don't you take that seat. Just get up and move your feet. Just dance. Take your chance. You can do anything you want. Yes, you are invincible, as I know that I am tough as I come part of the act. It's all part of the act. Yes, I got a scratchy throat and I got an itchy back. I don't know why I try to slack, but you know, I go back to the cataracts. You better watch in your corner, the corner of your cornea, as you see someone coming up to try to mourn you, because they are a demon and I am going to defeat them. They will never defeat me. I am the Queen of Wands. Yes, that's my tarot card, and I won. I won this game. Yes, everybody will know my name, and we will start the second song in a moment. Just own it, just show it. You know, Sacred Grounds, open my it's like doing my dance, Yes, second song. Can't do no wrong. As I pace around the Lena microphone. Hey, what's up, yo? I'm really nice, and I'm gonna. Okay, creep you out. I'm going back over here. I'm going back over here. I'm going back over here. I'm tired. I'm out of breath. Ooh. No, let me get this off my chest. I am the best. I never rest. This I can attest, that I will change the world. I'm just one little scared girl, but I'm living in this big, scary, wide world. I don't know what to do, why I left school, but no, I got my BFA in illustration. You know, this is the retaliation of a country that is hating on the poor. I save every penny, and I really want to get more, but I can't, so I don't know why I can't move back to San Francisco. Just go to all the gay discos to see my friends in the Castro, but I don't know how I can grow and grow and grow like a sycamore tree as I try to believe in what I see. The hives, the bees that fly at me, they come and they want my honey. Yes, I'm a little bit poor, I just eat Chex-Mex during breakfast. Yes, that's the best thing to eat when you're hungry, when you're really, really starving. You know, I'm like Marvin Gaye when I sing this way. And I sing this way, I can own anything like a Ferrari. You better see I will fly to the starseed, up to the sky. When I see a UFO, I know that I will know that I can grow to become something amazing and wonderful. I will never stop. I will always clip and clop like a horse, and I am gonna ride in that Porsche and ride and go to the store where I can buy more than I'm ever gonna need in my lifetime. When I go and cut the lifeline, the string that holds my eternal flame, I know that I'm not going to hell because I am the one with the great name. Sleep for love, she is love, she rises above, she's had enough of the rough stuff. Just go and be real nice and don't bring the tough stuff. Just be nice to me and I will give you everything you ever wanted. Yes, you are not wanted, you are loved. You know that you can wear the glove that can protect you when you try to climb up that ladder to get to the roof to have a cigarette over at my friend's place. Not really her place, I think she's just dog sitting, but it's okay because I'm never quitting. And I see the things around me that inspire me, like the people that's in front of me. They are so special as I try to wrestle with every vessel that I touch. So you see the flames, they're too hot to touch because the burning, and I'm yearning for something that I can't think of because I'm just going straight from the dome and hear the words. They're at home, yes, they just fly out of my mind and they come out, try to be on time, try to be on beat. I know it is gonna be quite neat, and I am gonna go to the place and beat the aliens who try to get me to take off all my clothes and try to probe me, but I know that's a little bit scary, but no, things are not gonna get hairy because they're okay, because I'm at the library and I'm just reading a book. And I hope that I haven't shook anybody up. I hope that I am gonna keep on running and win this race. I'm just going by the mind, so whatever I say might be a little displaced from the reality of who I am, but I don't know, I'm eating some ham, egg and cheese sandwich. Yes, that's the best when you get that hand, which you eat that sandwich and you go to the sand dunes, which trying to play with words. I can't think of anything else to play with the words, so I'm gonna go to the next beat. Yes, we're going up to the sky, and this is the last song, so I'm gonna try to see if I can have a minute to win it and see what I can do. Yo, I'm a kung fu master, I'm gonna come at ya. Yo, I'm so spectacular with my vernacular, with words you never heard. And on the dirt comes a revolution. That's my birthday. Yes, it's the best day. No, it's the worst day. Don't know what else to say except go to the open mic and see my friends and see the poets. You know they know it. You know they show it. You know they got something very interesting to talk about, and you can keep on talking about it even if you try to walk the walk and you talk the talk. But as long as you believe in what you believe, then you will never be a bad seed. You just impeach all those that take seat. You are the one that can reach to the stars. You are the one that can reach to the moon and above. Yes. Give them the push and the shove. If they try to take you down, don't get off the burning ground. Just crawl to the very sound of the place where you can find and be found. Yes, you are wound up and bound down, but you can set yourself free. You are going to win. You are going to defeat all the evils with your needles, and they're just weasels. Yes, don't weasel your way out of this inferno. You know that I'm going to the internal, and I'm going to be leading my army because I'm the colonel, and I'm gonna be in store for as I go into my four-door and ride it to the store and buy more than I can with my bag, and there's a little bit too much in it because there's something that rhymes with four-door. I can't think of it right now. I'm sweaty. I'm a little sweaty and hot, but it's okay because I'm taking my shot. This is my shot. This is my spot. I know I'm like a dot. I'm just a dot in a picture. Yes, I'm gonna take a picture, take a photograph, and then I will go take a bath because that will make me real comfy. And I know that I'm going to go see a movie or something. So you better understand there's something that you can do to go back to school and get that doctorate. Yes, I'm gonna be a doctor one day because that's what my parents want me to be, but I don't want to. I just want to be an artist. I just want to do this. What can I do? I'm the grooviest. I don't know. I'm just walking down the street, walking to the beat. Yes, walking real neat. Yes. Ooh, it's really hot. I feel the heat. I feel the heat. I feel the heat in my mind, and I just wave my hands in the air. I just wave them like I don't care, and now I wave my feet too. That's how I do, and now my oblique hurt. Oh, it hurts. Haven't worked out in a long time. And that's the end of my song, so I'ma end it with a rhyme. You're all so cool. I got that off my chest. Now someone else can come up and cut it up like a sous chef. Thank you.
You've been practicing.
I've been practicing, yeah.
Your work is good.
Our next poet is Garrett.
Very good. Very good. Very nice. Very nice. Tifa, don't be such a stranger.
Yeah, I'm back.
Come back
Nice to
again.
read.
All right, take care, Tifa.
Alright.
This is first piece is called Silly, Willie, Silly, Bay, Bridge, Still. See now, see, there are times when the legislature will be off their ducks and truly move it. Even steamroll over and bulldoze its own protocol to do so. When it's time, for example, to engage in bowing worship, next stop knighthood, subsequent stop sainthood, omnipotent pope, final stop, or so they claim, godhood itself. Remember the fisherman's wife? Whatever, it makes no real difference. It'll still be the Bay Bridge now and evermore, but let this be our teachable moment for today. Legislatures can be such synonyms for duffs.
Yeah.
Paula and George get married and then some. Miss Dean, do you agree to take as your lawlessly, unlawfully wedded husband, Mr. Zimmerman, in blissful glee and sickness with no help, and blah, 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 so help you God? I do. Mr. Zimmerman, oh, you know, same question. I do. Then by the power corrupted in me, Judge Jeffrey Nelson, with apology to all of you for the horrendous delay in commencing the ceremony, due to the unfortunate insistence that we all engage in that charade of a trial on behalf of Mr. Zimmerman, just to humor the politically correct who were upset about a little useless gangbanger, Master Martin. And we must offer a gracious thanks to our best man, Mr. Romero, and our head groomsman, Mr. West, for their guiding us all through that with loyal assistance for our matron of honor, Miss Corey, and our usher, Mr. Guy. That'll teach them all what happens when you refuse a job as server for us. But also sorry for my discretion. Where were we? Oh yes. By the power corrupted in me, I now pronounce you master and slave. I mean man and wife. Please kiss the bride. Miss pt2, please try to control yourself. You are our head maid, remember? I can't help it. This should have been me. Yes, but there is only one George Zimmerman. You'll just have to wait for the copycats to accumulate. Excuse me, Miss Flowers, if you will. Please toss a bouquet of flowers to the bridesmaids. Thank you. Hey, that was not very nice. Good evening, everyone. This news just breaking. A horrible close to the wedding of Paula Dean and George Zimmerman this afternoon. It appears that the bridesmaids, the judge, and all the other attendees, including the entire civic leadership and police force of Sanford, Florida, in the last bride and groom, were leveled by a series of hurled or dropped ornaments deceptively hidden inside bouquets of flowers. The first of all were the bridesmaids, consisting of a Miss pt2 and the ice cream licking daughters of the head groomsman, then the judge, and so on, and so on, and so on. Authorities are astounded by the ingenuity of the perpetrator, allegedly believed to be a Miss Chantel, who remains at large and is being elevated to the top of the 10 most wanted list, as well as a terrorist alert. The wedding servers, who were miraculously spared, claim to know nothing about any of this, curiously with a twinkle in their eyes. Nuts in charge. The world is in need of so many things that times they are waiting and they're crucial to boot. Our survival as we know it is open to question if the nuts are in charge of the cookie jar. And the nuts are in charge of the cookie jar. And the nuts are in charge of the cookie jar. And the nuts are in charge of the cookie jar. The police have been turned into the heroes of the world. McCarthy has come to it. The Senate treason. A crisis in the stricken leadership is already needed, but the nuts are in charge of the cookie jar. And the nuts are in charge of the cookie jar. And the nuts are in charge of the cookie jar. And the nuts are in charge of the cookie jar. The genocidal maniacs now have a field day, responding to because it given nothing but to lose to the claim that for the victims of oppressors instead, for the nuts are in charge of the cookie jar. And the nuts are in charge of the cookie jar. And the nuts are in charge of the cookie jar. And the nuts are in charge of the cookie jar. Now, if you see the profilers up licking their chops, a lot of our cute and non-Christians on the menu, and you say it's okay to the tenant coming in, then you must be a nut in the cookie jar. Then you must be a nut in the cookie jar. And you must be a nut in the cookie jar. And you must be a nut in the cookie jar. And now, close mine with a chapter from the novel Yin the Legend of Miss Dragon Hill, Chapter 3. Florence could not help but notice a large, dark man seated on a plush bench across from her regular shopping place. He had been present for the past couple of weeks, large notepad in one hand and some sort of pencil or pen she was too far away to see much well in the other. He was clearly doodling something in that notepad, every so often looking at the scene ahead of him. She could not for her vantage point determine his expression to any great extent, but she had had a feeling that his view was that of a fairly scornful critic, a feeling which touched something within her as if it might have been her he was looking at. Previously, she had ignored it as she continued her shopping and did so on this day as well, but on her way out, as she was placing her purchases in the Civic, something in her had enough. Abruptly slamming the door shut, she stalked her way to the spot where he was, crossing the street to face and fix him. A stalker aimed at me. Well, this brain ain't gonna fall that easy. She stood there over him, noting that his drawings were the buildings in the area. They appeared accurate enough, but there was a skeletal emptiness in them, as though, well, if they had been meat parts, the bones remaining after the rest was consumed might have had something in common with his buildings as rendered by the street artist. A most unusual depiction of your surroundings, she burst in as soon as he seemed to have completed the last piece. He turned to look up at her, but in such a composed way that she could tell she hadn't succeeded in jolting him. What's the cliche? He replied. I call them as I see them. Well then, she remarked, how would you call me, for example? You'd think I've been staring at you. Lawrence instinctively opened her mouth to retort, but he went on resignedly. Well, maybe I haven't, maybe I haven't. Either way, you could get the police on me and I'd end up with a statistic for police abuse, occupational hazard of my being a human size. But maybe you have other plans. No, she said, a little jarred. I'm neither accusing you nor trying to pick you up. Didn't really think so, he said, flipping the page of his notepad. But let me try to answer your question. To her surprise, he began to sketch her quickly, looking at her off and on as he did so. Lawrence held still to be cooperative, not quite certain of what he was up to. Within a short time he had finished and handed the sketch to her. There you are. She examined the sketch of herself. It was an accurate enough, albeit dark, Art Deco influenced portrait of her face, but something about it unnerved her. The expression, while placid, had a pained, questioning air to it, as if dogged with uncertainty. Was this her mirror image? She wanted to deny that it was, but she could not take her eyes or heart away from the portrait. It looked like you've got lots that you learn. You've got quite a talent, she said. Even I can use one, he replied. This is something I would like to look over. You don't mind if she moved to dig inside her purse? Not at all. You can keep it, and the money too. Then would you at least sign it, she asked, offering the portrait back to him. He took it, scribbled in it in the lower right corner, and then returned it to her. Thanks very much. No problem. She made her way back to the Civic, a little humbled in embarrassment over what she had prejudged. It was not exactly clear to her how she had managed to avoid colliding with something, for her eyes were on the portrait. But it was only after she was inside and secured herself in preparation to leave that she realized what had been written on the portrait. To my idol, the legendary Miss Dragonheel, Reed Hamilton. She hissed, "Why that manipulative?" Yet she was not sure whether it was out of anger or a gesture of a touche.
Thank you, Garrett. Okay. And our next musician and poet will be Johnny.
Alrighty. Here we go. Let's figure it out here. Huh.
The buzz is coming from the
Yeah, I
connection
hear it.
in the back of the mic. If it hangs down, it's okay.
Yeah, smack. That looks like it went away.
Well, as long
This
as
is what needs a good smack.
no, it just needs to hang down because it's loose.
Yeah.
Yeah. Got
Good
it.
now. All right, cool. Okay. So, a new song for you guys, first of all. You haven't heard this one yet. Did it on Thursday, but you haven't heard it here yet. Let's see. Yeah, should work. It's one of those positive message songs, kind of a Maria Mango kind of thing. We were actually texting on the phone as I was writing, and I was texting her the lyrics as I was writing. It was kind of fun. We are starlight in transition, glowing warmly as sparks of life during this intermission. But once we reach our destination and the journey's done, we'll shine much brighter as the glorious rays of a radiant sun. Everyone's the product of the same compelling cosmic force, coming from the most amazing, unchanging, everlasting source. And while coursing through the universe, one may realize there's a very good reason for the luminescence seen in a person's eyes. Because we are starlight in transition, glowing warmly as sparks of life during this intermission. But once we reach our destination and the journey's done, we'll shine much brighter as the glorious rays of a radiant sun. Each word you speak, each choice you make, each action you take has the power to spring a fountain, move a mountain, or start an earthquake. Even a butterfly's gentle flight might lead to tornadoes and hurricanes. A little empathy and kindness aren't much pain for what the world could gain. Because we are starlights in transition, glowing warmly as sparks of life during this intermission. But once we reach our destination and the journey's done, we'll shine much brighter as the glorious rays of a radiant sun. And as we spiral along each life like a song meant for harmony, why can't we sing together and bring in a future of tranquility? Our hopes and dreams, a manifestation of our unity. In a world of peace and kindness for all, we can truly be free. Because we are starlights in transition, glowing warmly as sparks of life during this intermission. But once we reach our destination and the journey's done, we'll shine much brighter as the glorious rays of a radiant sun. That's the new one. That's some old ones. This is one that I never quite do justice to, so I'm going to actually try to do justice to it today. People tend to find the hardest way. They make their beds and then they gotta lay. All work makes Jack a dull boy. He needs some time to play. Well, as for me, I found the best of times are built on old cliches. Like when the shoe fits, you might as well wear it. If you have to move a horse, use a carrot. Do you have more than you need? Well, why not share it? When the shoe fits, you might as well wear it. They say don't sweat small stuff when you can. Life is meant for living, that's the plan. One step at a time will help you toe the line. Each baby step says, hey, you're doing fine. When the shoe fits, you might as well wear it. If you have to move a horse, use a carrot. Do you have more than you need? Well, why not share it? When the shoe fits, you might as well wear it. So maybe you're among the chosen few. Enlightenment has shined its light on you. Do you practice what you preach? Are the stars within your reach? Have you walked a mile in someone else's shoes? Oh, when the shoe fits, you might as well wear it. If you have to move a horse, use a carrot. Do you have more than you need? Why not share it? Hey, when the shoe fits, you might as well wear it. Yeah, it's getting there. Needs a little more work. Another old one. I should say old, but ones that need work. Ones that need to have justice done to them. No cable on this one. There we go. could, would you want to live forever? In these current times, they may have found a way. It's not like in the old days when they mummified your body, put your organs in a clay jar, tucked them away. It seems that a new age has begun. Anything is possible for everyone. If you can Google it, that proves that it can be done. And once you do it, you can YouTube it to share the fun. Oh, when you die, you're still alive on the World Wide Web. Interment on the internet means you're not completely dead. All your friends, they can still message you or poke you instead. When you die, you're still alive on the World Wide Web. On the World Wide Web. Facebook friends who have passed and gone away can still smile from their profiles every day. There's reminders of their likes and the online games they chose to play, even suggestions for cool gifts on their birthdays. It seems that the new age is today. Storing your head in cryo-freezing is so passé. Even cloning is almost a science of yesterday. 3D replicant printing of your body is the modern way. Because when you die, you're still alive on the World Wide Web. Interment on the internet means you're not completely dead. All your friends, they can still message you or poke you instead. When you die, you're still alive on the World Wide Web. On the World Wide Web. Are we done? 2 more minutes. Squeeze one in, maybe. This one will partially squeeze in. We'll get into what we can. Here we go. Capo or no capo? Capo. Wasting time. There we go. You're on the inside looking out, not on the outside looking in. And you get closer to the ultimate source of it all each time the universe decides to take a spin. If time is really like a ribbon, it may be wound a little tight. You should be able to cross from anywhere to anywhere, and then anything should be within anyone's sight. And life just must be eternal, you see. The beginnings and ends are the same, but like an accountant with his journal, we try to keep track of it all. What a silly game. You're on the upside looking down, not on the downside looking up. And once you realize the beauty lies in everyone's eyes, you'll recognize the utter fullness of your cup. If time is just an illusion, maybe our worries are much more. Amidst the panic and confusion lies the real solution. Inner peace is as nature at your core. And life just must be eternal, you know. It's the rhythm we feel, the ebb and flow. To exist is to manifest reality. Awareness is the window to bliss and eternity. You're on the inside looking out. You're on the inside looking out. You're on the inside looking out.
Yeah. It was a beautiful day for poetry. Until we meet again next Saturday, leave your troubles at the door. Watch out for the banana peels out there and more. Stay safe. Our selected poet next week will be Ricardo Luna, so please join us next week. Thank you.
All right, yay!
That's it.
Very nice.
Okay.